This episode was recorded before the passing of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Our thoughts, prayers, and deepest sympathies go out to his family, friends, and fans. Rest in peace, Anvil, and thanks for the memories.
Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 129, featuring the Blvd Bullies, and away we go!
Is that the message you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. So let's step up to the ring. We got MJP and GreenMan. It's the reigning championship team. From Milan to Japan and everywhere in between. Get the up-to-date news on the wrestling scene. So take a shot, boy. Fans calling the line. Talk smack, get talk. Stuff that sound like mankind. 98, 99 in the attitude era. So cold, Undertaker, the rock, the Paul Bearer. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my yard. I'm Ramon Razor. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. It's a new age and a new wave. Can I get 2 claps for the new day? AJ with my style, will back up the crowd. Wanna hear from the fans and go and pick up the dial. Gonna give a shout out to my boy down the Queens. Educated, sexy, saving, but about bullies on the scene. BC Dog, Elf Lodge, modern day Maharaj. And we coming so hard like it's Monday night. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Yeah.
Well, there it is. It is the full intro to A Shot of Wrestling. Not very often that you hear that, but that full intro has a lot of great Easter eggs. And one of them is that the Blvd Bullies are on the scene, and they are here with us on A Shot of Wrestling. But before we get to them, let me tell you how you can continue to support your boys here at A Shot of Wrestling. Be part of the family. Like Michael J. Putty says, when you're here, you're family, and we want you to feel that way. So brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, moms and dads, get everybody together on social media at A Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, and Shot of Wrestling, no A, on Twitter. We are your variety podcast, so we try to give it to you all. That's right. We give you reviews. We give you the news. We give you interviews. We give you exclusive content about the professional wrestling independent scene here in the New York area. So continue to support us. Leave your thoughts. Leave your comments. And there's one more way to get in contact with us. You could dial it up, 619-343-3005. That is our hotline for any comments, questions, concerns. Just leave your message there, and who knows, it may be featured on an upcoming episode of A Shot of Wrestling. That hotline serves 2 purposes. It is also the official hotline to the sexy Zane, Eric Jaden, and he gives out love advice periodically here on A Shot of Wrestling. And if you have any questions on how to be a little sexier, how to work your new sex toy, how to be be a better lover in bed. Whatever it is, whatever your concern is, the sexy Zane is here on A Shot of Wrestling to answer all those questions. So again, you could dial it up, 619-343-3005. Now, sit back, relax. You're going to enjoy a great show. And I'm going to hopefully fill the big shoes of Michael J. Putty, who is away on assignment. We are on the road to Boardwalk Beatdown. And Michael J. Putty took a trip this weekend to ensure that all the T's were crossed, all the I's were dotted, and the final contracts leading to Boardwalk Beatdown, and ensuring that the official podcast of Boardwalk Beatdown, A Shot of Wrestling, is in good hands and everything is set up for us. So Michael J. Putty, thank you very much for taking care of the business as we head down to Atlantic City. That's right, on August 24th and 25th. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here on episode 149.
129.
We're drinking, and I just added a whole nother 20 episodes. Welcome our guest this evening from the internet. The Blvd Bullies are here in the
We're here.
Steve, I'm so surprised that you were able to remember what episode it was. That was a really impressive.
I took notes. The last few times we were here, I just went in, guns a-blazing, and I just forgot everything and got way too drunk. So I took a few notes, mostly just the name, just what number the episode was.
Right, yeah. So you remembered the number of the episode, you're still going at guns a-blazing.
That's all I got.
What was the episode that we came on first, that we debuted on?
Well, I'm glad that
Was
you
it
mentioned
68?
that, because we've had a little bit of history here.
Uh-huh.
First of all, we got together at Yerman's for our first ever Shot of Wrestling on tour, where we actually had an episode at a bar.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. We had some weird green drinks that nobody really liked.
Champagne
those?
Dave. Champagne Dave made an appearance.
Yeah.
Tried to have sex with the woman that I was dating at the time through karaoke.
Ooh, she was fine. The second time we got together with Rich the bartender, and he made sure that we got nice and toasty and talked all about wrestling. The third time we got together with Casanova Valentine, a close personal friend of yours now. You guys have been touring the world, it seems like, with him. So this is the fourth time. So thank you for coming back to A Shot of Wrestling.
It's
gentlemen.
been a long and interesting journey,
Yeah,
sure.
long journey. I'm glad we were able to squeeze the time in this day, because there's so much stuff we got to do.
Yeah,
And talk about.
we're fully booked.
And we're here now, so let's talk about it.
So let's get to it. The last time we got together with you guys, it was Wrestlemania weekend in New Orleans.
Seems like 25 years ago.
I recall it being the longest weekend of my life, because it truly was.
Same.
Yep.
Same.
But
here.
it was full of so many great moments. We ran into you homeless. So fill us in. What happened? How did you guys?
there is some truth to that story. So we went down to New Orleans.
New Orleans.
To be a part of the festivities, most notably to be hanging out with the GCW crew for Bloodsport and Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
So it was kind of cool because we got invited to the cool kids table.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
we were definitely on the cool kids table. And
It was a fleeting moment in time.
yeah, so basically the first night went swimmingly.
Great.
We got in town. We hang out really late. We go to all the parties, the Swamp Bar, this bar, that bar. Everything.
We hung
is
out
great.
with Noel Foley. We hung out with Samoa Joe.
No
Corey
way,
Graves.
really?
Yeah. If you look deep onto the Instagram website, you will find a photo of Nick Gage, Samoa Joe, Corey Graves, and Joey Janela.
Oh my gosh.
And your boys were right behind the lens.
So everything was going swimmingly, and we did end up meeting up with you, quote unquote, homeless. After the second night of partying, we arrived back to said Airbnb, and then just somehow woke up the next morning and were kicked out because we know as a truth is that we partied too hard.
Right. Correct.
The Blvd Bullies were caught red-handed partying way too hard, even for like New Orleans standards, that the Airbnb people were like, hey, everyone's got to go.
Yeah.
No way.
And this is including Joey Janela and everyone, including in that camp, we just had to relocate. So we
basically ruined it. We were in a house with Jimmy Lloyd, Brett Lauderdale, Joey Janela, John Carlo, Penelope Ford, and a few other random people. First night was a pass. Yeah, the Bullies stayed out too late, but that's what the Bullies do. Second night, everybody went home super early because Bloodsport was the next day. Me and Steve were like, hey, fuck it, let's stay out until 6 in the morning.
Oh, God.
We fly at 6 in the morning. We were guaranteed and positive that the door to the Airbnb was unlocked. But I tried the handle, and it opened. And me and Steve's limp, drunk bodies flew through the front door and just laid on the floor. And there was nowhere to sleep, so I took all the bathroom towels from the bathroom, and I laid them and made myself a bed.
Oh, wow.
And I slept under the living room table, which was completely comfortable. And this is like 6 in the morning, Thursday night. Friday at 9 in the morning, which is only 3 hours later, I am woken up to the owner of the Airbnb taking photos of me for security purposes, for insurance purposes. And he says, hey, man, these two red-bearded dudes, they're just way too loud, and they're just partying way too hard. So, negative, we were homeless. Negative, we burnt our bridge with GCW. But positive, we out-partied the most hardcore wrestling promotion.
Hey, talk about a pod.
Yeah.
We definitely
great.
did.
So I will challenge anyone to say, did you party hardier than us in New Orleans?
Hardys?
Nah, because everybody was able to go back to their hotel at the end of the night and sleep their nice little sleep. Me and Steve got kicked out of our Airbnb the first night and slept on a floor 3 nights after that.
Yep.
So fuck y'all.
You know what? That's the way that trip should have planned out.
I agree.
Because, hey, Airbnb, cool kids table, everything was great. It's never going to play out the way you want it to play out. You know, we still managed to go to the show.
Somehow.
We somehow got to
we
the show.
gained admittance to the show.
We enjoyed it. And then we had another full day of New Orleans. What are they called? Grenades? Yeah.
Debauchery.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, you guys were able to eat crawfish. I flew home, and you guys ate crawfish and had like
Jeff the intern with his gambling problem actually hit it big.
Finally, one in 100.
Oh yeah, one of the great highlights of that was.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One of the best highlights was, just being at the lowest of our lows, and me and GreenMan went out to go like scavenge around the city for seafood or soul food or whatever.
What New Orleans is known for.
And
New Orleans.
And we get and I guess Pat had already flown home at that point.
I was long home. I was sleeping on a flight home. I was like, couldn't wait to get to my bed.
Yeah.
And we get a text being like, hey guys, I just won it big. I'm going to buy you dinner at a hotel, at the bougie hotel. And we're like, okay, cool. We're going to go back to the hotel and eat oyster po' boys and drink champagne.
Yeah.
Oyster po' boys
Yeah, exactly,
and champagne sounds great. You know what's so funny is like after Janela spring break, we slept with you in like a dirty-ass Motel 6. It's probably a Motel 5.
And could you believe that was the upgrade from the night before?
And then that was the upgrade from the night before. And then the next day, the day that I flew home, you were at the fucking Harrah's. Dead center downtown, just killing it like the presidential fucking suite, man. These guys are doing it right. It's crazy. Anyway, fuck WrestleMania, fuck New Orleans. Can I shoot on Bourbon Street for a minute?
Oh, please. Why? What's going on?
Oh
with
my
Bourbon?
God, Bourbon Street is like the Jersey Shore without the boardwalk. It's like all just materialistic, gimmicky bullshit. You know, when you're walking down Bourbon Street, drinking beers in the middle of the street, it seems like it's going to be awesome. It seems like whatever strip club you're going to walk into is going to be amazing, and just women are going to throw themselves at you, or like the beers are just going to flow freely. It was just as gimmicky as every other fucking attraction. If you do go to New Orleans, my recommendation would go to the Murder Museum, or go on a swamp tour, or go see some fucking voodoo shit. If you're walking up and down Bourbon Street for 4 days, that's going to kill your brain cells.
I'm going to say the exact opposite and say that you should enjoy all of the topical drinks, the grenades, the hurricanes and such, the huge-ass beers, because that is New Orleans, and I was happy to be there.
You know
I can't wait to go back.
I apologize for being so cynical. Me too.
And I can't wait to go back.
If you were to hand me a grenade and put the Wrestling Classic right next to me, We made friends with the Wrestling Classic.
Yes,
Which
you
was
did.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we used the trifling norm, sad state of affairs to rope the Wrestling Classic into our alcoholism, which was nice. So we have a
great.
little
It
video
was
where
great.
we just punished him and got him drunk the whole time, which is great.
You got some great footage. You got some great pictures from your time in New Orleans. One of the ones that I am very honored to participate in is the one you took of with the Struggles, the Wrestling Classic, the Boulevard Bullies, and A Shot of Wrestling was also represented in that picture.
That's like the Mount Rushmore, isn't it? In our own minds. In our own minds, it's the Mount Rushmore.
Kind of. It's like
Yeah.
our Mount Rushmore.
It is our Mount Rushmore.
I mean, give me
do not-
4 Northeast wrestling observers who do it better. Not mentioning Sam Roberts or Dave Meltzer. It's like those are
There's
4
been
startup,
others.
awesome indie dudes trekked down to New Orleans on their own dollar. We didn't get
Word.
paid to cover.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like those are 4 dudes who still fucking love wrestling, who just want to pay their own dollar to do their thing and then like provide content for their fans. So Shot of Wrestling, Wrestling Classic, The Struggles, and Boulevard Bullies. It's like, dude, that's the shit right
Shout
there,
out
man.
to all you guys.
Yeah,
Shout out
that's
to
the
everybody.
family.
But and I'll shoot with you guys for a minute. In no way do I feel like I have earned my spot there.
Oh,
but
us
I am
neither. Us
working.
neither, dude.
I'm going to be working my ass off to make sure that I'm welcome back to the table
Dude,
this
us
year
neither.
at WrestleMania again for that.
You know what?
Second photo shoot.
We're sitting there in that photo, and you got Wrestling Classic on one side of us and Struggles on the other side. And just like we would be in between 2 wrestlers, it's like, man, we don't belong here.
So
This
that's
is
how-
wild. Yeah.
Totally how I felt. But thank you for bringing
we
me
were in
along.
the same boat, man. We were in the same boat.
All right, Bullies. While we're sharing some drinks and having a great time, you guys have made some great friends. You're friends with A Shot of Wrestling. You're friends with GCW, CZW. Everybody's friends with the Bullies. Who are your closest friends right now?
My mom and my dad.
So weird. So
I mean, with Casanova Valentine has been probably our go-to guy for the last almost full year of being around.
I would say big 2 have been right now the last year have been Casanova Valentine and Bull James.
Yeah.
Now the originators were
Who were your friends before that? Yeah, let's go back to the
Our
beginning.
friends before Bullies were Brett Lauderdale and Larry, maybe Danny DeManto. How do you say it? I always mess it up.
Yeah, DeMonto. Yeah.
You said
DeManto,
it right.
DeManto, the cold-hearted playa, and he was our friend before.
Playa.
It's pronounced playa?
Yeah, it's
Playa is Spanish for the beach.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought it was. I thought he was the cold-hearted beach. Yeah, those were our friends before, but and they're still our friends
Yeah.
now. But I'd say our biggest 2 friends / advisors at this point in time, 2 years in, have been Bull James and also Casanova. So we're traveling the world with anybody that wants.
I mean,
to,
you introduced me to Casanova the first time on our podcast, and then it really got me interested in what was going on in Brooklyn with those no-ring death matches.
Dude.
Beyond sick.
When we called him that night on your show, we weren't even that close friends with him. He was just like a dude who we interviewed, who we were kind of like chilling out with. But since then, we have become like best friends with Cass and also Bull.
Is there going to be any other no-ring death matches in the near future in the Brooklyn area?
Let me tell you something, Green. We know exactly what's going to happen. What? He's done 9 death matches. Mm-hmm. He's about to do the big 10.
Really?
Do you know who's fighting in 10?
Are you going to break it on
No,
the Shudder Wrestling? Come on.
absolutely not.
Come
We're
on.
not going to.
Nope.
But I just want you to know that when it does get announced
Uh-huh.
and you see who he's fighting in Deathmatch 10, I want you to think one thing and one thing only, Green. The Boulevard Bullies were the ones who thought of and pushed for this person to be the Deathmatch 10. The final,
Really?
as far as we know, the final Deathmatch.
Under that moniker of Deathmatch 10,
Yeah.
Tender Trap,
Wow.
blah, blah.
Tender Trap, no ring, Deathmatch, no rules. If you were to take your number 1 choice, times that by 1,000,000, and
He's
that's
fighting the Bullies.
He's fighting the ghost of John Lennon. That's who he's fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for all of our listeners, if you do not know about the no-ring death matches pulled out by Casanova Valentine in the Tender Trap, we are letting you in on a little secret in the wrestling world that needs to be exposed, that everybody needs to go to.
Expose it.
It is one of the best shows I've ever been on.
Oh, isn't it?
And the fact that I took my sister-in-law to her first wrestling show,
Yes.
and it was that show.
And it was that show. Oh my god.
First wrestling
God,
show.
ever. Wait. So while we're talking about wrestling shows, Steve, you had the opportunity to go with Cass to Orlando. So fill us in about that.
Oh yeah, I definitely did fly down to Orlando.
Was it on a whim?
It was pretty last minute.
It was like a weak whim.
I wanted to go. I only booked my flight when I coordinated when he was actually getting his buddy pass down.
Okay.
Because he's big leaguing, so he's got the buddy pass. He gets-
Ooh.
And nothing he plans is ever solid until
Well,
less than 24 hours before.
Well, yeah, so I actually bought my ticket, and I was like, you know what, I want to get a nice comfy seat, so I got to pay the extra up fare, and I sat in the front row, and I'm like, hey, Cass, I'm sitting in the front row, our flight's leaving at 6:40. He's like, hey, I got to wait till everyone boards, and then I got to hope there's a fucking seat for me. So I'm sitting in front row at 6 o'clock in the morning, watching everyone go into the flight, and I'm like, is he showing
Is he
up?
gonna make it?
Are you like
Is the
waiting
door
for him?
closing? Is
Are you-
it showing up? Is the door closing? And then at the last possible second, he's like walking on with his little like stupid little bag of like his vest and his tights and whatever. And he's like, "Hey, I made it on the flight." And then we got to Orlando, and it was insane. Orlando is a fucked town. There is a bar that's called Frosty's that is Christmas themed 24/7, 365 days a year.
Okay.
They shoot out fake snow every half an hour. We met up with Marcus Crane, who was his opponent, and we just basically drank and partied way too much the first night. The day of the show, Cass didn't even want to do the show because he was so hungover.
Oh.
There's a shot in our blog about it where he was just laying in the backstage with a towel over his face, and the footage is a lot more brutal because he's like, hey, I don't think I can do this. And I'm like, Cass, we're in Florida. You have to do this.
You're literally already here.
Yeah,
You've already been flown
it's
down.
like
You're
literally-
laying on the sofa downstairs.
It's 8 o'clock.
Everybody's ready.
It's 8 o'clock. The opening band is already playing. You can't not wrestle. So basically, he got his wits to him. He got his shit together, and they had a brutal ass no ring death match. Marcus Crane is a fucking animal, very reckless in the most partiest kind of way. I appreciate
In the best way.
I appreciate how reckless this guy is. So Orlando
So excited.
basically was a nonstop shit show. The match was almost canceled. There was so many things consumed. There's a lot of fake Christmas happening. It was a really, really long 2.5 day weekend.
So you had a great time in Orlando.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back.
We had a great time in New Orleans. Did we have a great time at the gathering of the Juggalos?
All right, so you want to know?
I want to know.
You want to know the real story?
I gotta be honest, and this is one of the reasons that I love you guys. For people who are not in tune in the wrestling scene, in the independent wrestling scene, about everything that's going on with all the promotions and all the cool things happening, follow the Blvd Bullies because they will give you an exclusive look into what is going on in the New York scene. Because if you talk about independent wrestling, there's no better scene than the East Coast scene right
Yeah,
now.
Oh, yeah.
Northeast.
Okay? So,
Forever.
Patrick,
It's
you
always been
introduced
that way.
me to the gathering of the Juggalos because I had no idea what was going on. Fill me in.
Before the story starts, I just want to say that I wish I was there. And on the same note, I'm happy I didn't go
You should be.
because
I am with
because
you on that boat.
this is an
110%, brother.
intense moment, and I want you to pay attention and pay attention very closely to the story you are about to hear.
All right, so where to begin? So, first and foremost, what needs to be said is that I have never asked anything of Casanova. I would never put myself over. I would never act like I'm some kind of wrestling entity. But when he got booked for the gathering of the Juggalos, I messaged him directly, not in the group with Steve or not in any kind of bullies type of way. I literally sent him a direct personal text that said, Casanova, please, I've never asked anything of you in my entire life. I don't know how or why, but I just know in my soul that I need to manage you for the gathering of the Juggalos.
You proposed it.
I needed to.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
the original idea was that Steve and I were going to come out as Paul E. Dangerously and Jim Cornette on either side of him. And just, not that the gathering of the Juggalos crowd or anybody who was watching the show would even get it, but it was just something that needed to be done. You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty cool. It sounds like
it just needed to happen. Dude.
even just the visual, it sounds really cool.
Imagine like one dude on his left with a big cell phone and the other dude on his right with a big tennis racket.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just unbelievable. Because like the thing with us and Casanova is that we both share a love for that 90s ignorant fucking TNA bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So there was a no-brainer for me to manage him as an old school Paulie. I bought the suit. I bought the hat. I was looking for old school cell phones online, but that Zach Morris phone on eBay, you'd be surprised, is like $200, $250.
Shit.
So what I did is I split the difference and I just bought an inflatable novelty Zach Morris cell phone.
Definitely did.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I said, hey, man, Cass, I'm here for you. I'm ready to go. I want to manage you at the gathering. Come out with me as Bully Dangerously. That WCW Paul Heyman, that good shit, man, that scathing, awesome manager that he was. I wanted to recreate that because that shit doesn't exist anymore, man.
Right.
Just like Casanova, like a wrestler like Casanova doesn't really exist anymore to this day. So we wanted to throw it back. We wanted to go to the gathering and just be like New York assholes. So long story short, Steve couldn't go. I brought a suit jacket. I bought long pants. I bought dress shoes. And I literally rocked a novelty cell phone and screamed into it during my entire managing of Casanova. And let me tell you, we've been referees. We've been ring announcers. But I think our real
You're calling?
calling is being managers.
Wow.
I want to.
I have to ask them, before you move any forward, who else would you build this stable that you would manage?
All right, so my two would be, Cass is obvious, so we won't count him. I would go definitely Bull James.
I just know that with all of the with everything happening in the current atmosphere with Bullies, we need Bull James and Casanova on our side.
Right. Well, Bull James and Casanova are givens, but who's the third man?
Yeah.
All right, so let me think real hard about this. It's definitely Bull.
Yeah.
And it's definitely Cass.
Absolutely.
The third person, you know what? I would try. It's a no-brainer. Schlack and Maria.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Dude, come at me. What faction in the entire history of professional wrestling could beat the Bullies crew of Bull, Cass, and Schleria?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a brain fart.
I like it.
And I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and the light at the end of the tunnel was Schlack and Maria.
Just Schlack's toothless smile is just the light at the end.
It was those two sentient beings just looking at us.
Oh, my God. An honorable mention, Kid Osborne. Just because.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah, Kid Osborne.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for enlightening me in your tours of Orlando with Casanova.
Have we, though?
And the gathering of the Juggalos.
Have we
I
really?
apologize profusely. We're very drunk.
Can I just apologize profusely? Just to go back to the Juggalos real quick. All you need to do is go watch the footage. It's out there. Just watch me be a great Paulie. Just watch me be a great bully.
That is awesome, guys. Well, thank you for letting us know a little bit insight of what's been going on with the Bullies.
We, though?
There's more, because there's more that's been going on since the last time we saw each other.
Steve.
Give me that. Whatever you just drank there, I want some of that.
Dude, this is so good. This tastes like a Christmas. What's the thing that you kiss everybody under?
Mistletoe.
This tastes like a Christmas mistletoe.
On that note, I'm going to just take a shot, and we're going to do a good stuff.
Yeah, it's delicious. I know.
We have a few minutes left on the IG Live, so we have to bring it up. You posted a video this evening, right before we started recording this podcast, about the similarities.
Right before we sat down, we posted our manifesto to expose the Shook crew. And I think the point was made. Our point was made. It was drilled into the ground, and I don't know what else there is to say.
I mean, is it a point, or because I did reach out to the Shook Crew and I did my due diligence and I try to get a comment from them, but unfortunately their comment is no comment, right?
Well, those who are in the wrong are the quickest to say they have no comment.
Really?
Because the easiest way to snake your way out of a situation is to say nothing.
They stole our gimmick. That's pretty much the goddamn truth of it.
But I gotta be honest. I mean, I've seen your stuff, and I've seen the video that you recently posted. The Shook Crew does diss tracks. You do in-depth videos on professional wrestling, behind-the-scenes stuff.
You know what? They might do diss tracks. That's fine.
I've never seen you guys do a diss track.
We don't need to, because the idea is that we had our angle looking at professional wrestling and infiltrating the system, and they took our aesthetic. There was very similar, same company situations. We were at Cage of Death 19, they were at TOD 17 the same year. Yes, the numbers were off, but it's definitely the same year. And they're in the ring saying, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we're like, hey, 6 months earlier, hey, the internet is important. You should subscribe to our YouTube channel. I feel as though that there are so many different ways you could go with a gimmick in wrestling. If you are a smart, young, talented person, you can go any which way. Why do you choose to wear our clothes, dress our way, use our vernacular, push over the social media the way that we push over our social media, have the friends that we have that like us, and then also say that you don't have no idea who we are? There are people that I can point to on a name-to-name basis that know who we are and say they enjoy our content, that are friends with them and friends with us, and they go, we have no idea who they are. We work for the same companies. We are in the same town. We're in Long Island. We work for the same companies. There's no way that these three kids, who they're friends, who work in the same training school as they do, those other guys say that bullies are great and they're funny and they're awesome. There's no way that they have no idea who we are. It's literally impossible.
Do you find that disrespectful?
The way that they no-sell the idea is very disrespectful. I would have much appreciated hey, you know what, you did this, but we're wrestlers, we're doing it better. That would have been a little easier to digest. The idea that it's like hey, who are you, what are you doing? When there's been clear communication on social media, there's been clear, like barriers to entry. There's been blocks on Twitter and blocks on Instagram. And the fact that they will still
Why do you think they blocked you?
They blocked us because they immediately realized that the jig was up. That they stole our idea.
That we would not back down to the fact that we realized what they were doing. And you know what? We've been around for 2 or 3 years. We have never seen some other people in our area be like, oh, we're going to do a YouTube channel. And then as soon as we call out somebody going, oh, YouTube channel, wrestling, funny clothes, funny sunglasses, quirky stuff, they back down really quickly and they just block us because they have no other way to go about it.
I will say that it can be summed up in one sentence, or maybe 2 or 3. I don't understand sentences. It's that 2 years ago, we were fans who started the YouTube channel, who, through our own ingenuity and cleverness, for better or worse, have broken into the business. I mean, it's undeniable at this point. I hate to say that. I would never put ourselves over, but it's legit. And we never pat ourselves on the back. We are the most self-loathing YouTube channel that's ever existed in the world. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, after some of our stuff has garnered some success, there are just 3 wrestlers with no gimmick at an unnamed school who just decided, hey, our gimmick is that we're fans with a wrestling YouTube channel, and we're going to hop the guardrail. And it's like, hey, man, that's a little bit like our idea. And then, we're chilling. It's like, I see that might be a little bit like our idea. So you want to work an angle with Brandon Kirk and do a little like fans hop the guardrail thing. It's like, hey, man, that's great. But what you need to know is that was our idea first, And if you're a indie wrestling student, I mean, you need to know about the Blvd Bullies, right? And if you don't, you can start that gimmick and do your songs and do your whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm just so surprised that nobody along the way told them, hey, guess what? You're stealing their gimmick. But I don't blame them because they're just shitty little unknown students. Yeah. It's bullshit. They literally have thousands of dollars of merch at their table. Flags, T-shirts, stickers, animated drawings, chocolates. Oh, my God. It's like, check it out. We're a grindcore band that just got a record deal and are going on tour, and they're a local grindcore band that just ripped off our idea, and we got to run into them.
Time out. GreenMan just took the sickest swig out of that American whiskey.
American whiskey, it's delicious.
All right, so there you go. You can't edit that. That's just done. That's just done. That's
part
done.
of the
That's a done.
podcast.
That's a finished comment.
Well, gentlemen,
What, gentlemen? What? You go ahead. What is it?
let's shoot for a little bit, okay?
Let's fucking shoot, man. What do you want to know about? We're gonna give you all the dirt on everybody. You want to know the dirt?
I want to know the dirt on the Boulevard Bullies. It's the reason I got you guys on here now. The thing that you're doing.
Well,
with
there
this
is no dirt on the Boulevard Bullies, so you're barking up the wrong tree. Everybody else, we got you, but Boulevard Bullies were super squeaky clean.
Well,
I think we stated our claim for the Shook Crew. I think we stated our claim for our allegiances with other promotions. All I'm saying is the Bullies are the fastest rising gonzo journalists in the game today, the most original content, most comedic and meta content. And if you're not on board with that, then I don't know. What are the 3 words?
3 words.
Suck it, yeah.
Suck it, yeah.
Just like Grimm said.
He says eat it, yeah, but it's close enough.
Eat it, yeah, whatever. Suck it, yeah. It doesn't matter, man.
All right. But one of the things that I do have to say that I respect about the maybe animosity that you guys have with the Shook Crew is like, this is the best Boulevard Bully content that I have seen in a while. For a while, it feels like the Boulevard Bullies have made connections in the wrestling industry, and they've been playing nice. They've been playing nice to their friends.
How dare you?
No.
How dare you,
guys?
GreenMan?
You guys have been playing nice to the people you know. You've been respectful. You've been trying to pay your dues, but you have not been the Boulevard Bullies that we met back at the ICW show at the Elks Lodge.
If you think that we can't be bullies in the truest sense at any God-given hour of the day, then you are wrong. I challenge everybody to come to a show, to hang out with us. We will outdrink you. We will outsmart you. There is no way that we will not win in a fight. Have fun trying.
All right. Well, it's a great way to end our time with the Boulevard.
No, we're not ending. We're not ending. We're just starting.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Pat, because
I have so much to tell you about SummerSlam, about the Shook Crew. I want to tell you about Connor Claxton's underwear. I want to tell you about Dan O'Hare's real job. I'm going to tell you about Steve. What else are we going to tell him about?
You're going to tell us about everything because you know what? On that note, we are going to keep you on because we got the rest of this episode to get to. And let's get to In the News.
What's that?
It's In the News with Michael J. Putty and the Green Man.
All right, everybody, we are back. We are back to In the News, and we got a lot of things to talk about, and we still have the Bullies here with us. Tickets for Ring of Honor New Japan Wrestling G1 Supercard went on sale, and for the Honor Club, they sold about 60% when the Honor Club bought those tickets, and they sold out within a few minutes when general public tickets went on sale. Gentlemen, are you going to the Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden next year?
When is that?
Somewhere around WrestleMania weekend.
Hey, if there's one thing that you know about the Boulevard Bullies is that we will sneak in and find a way into every show to provide great wrestling content.
So you will be there?
I'm sure we will.
Probably not.
What do you think about it being? Do you think it's going to be a problem for WWE, the fact that this show sold out so quickly during WrestleMania weekend?
Did it sell out so quickly, or did they give half the tickets away as comps?
I don't know, or did robots buy it?
Hey,
To sell in
Yeah,
the back market.
Is it secondhand sale? Is it all StubHub situation? I
It
mean,
could
if
be
you're
possible.
if you're gonna completely kayfabe it, yeah, sure. Ring of Honor did a really great job getting Madison Square Garden because he never had it before. But who really knows what's happening? Vince might have his puppets controlling the entire situation.
Well, a WWE sellout at MSG is usually around 15,000 fans that would buy for a house show. So that being said, if they sold 9,000 tickets of those 15,000, that would be 60%.
Yeah, but one thing I've learned from being a YouTube entity for the last 2 years is that 15,000 means absolutely nothing. So it's like, yeah, you sell 15,000 seats and you pack out that spot, you black out 5,000 seats, everything's cool, it looks good on pay-per-view, but is that a real sellout? It's wrestling, man. It's a work. It's not a real sellout. They gave half the tickets to their boys.
You think so? Interesting.
I don't know. I
Very
think so, but
interesting.
it's like, hey, what do I know, man? I guarantee that
You
Cody
know,
Rhodes.
let's fight the good fight and say that they actually did it, and congratulations to them.
Yeah,
because
good
they
for
did.
them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Let's move on. CM Punk is in the news because Colt Cabana is suing CM Punk for breach of contract and fraud following a recent defamation lawsuit win over the WWE's Dr. Chris Ammon.
Hey, so the first thing to say is screw anybody who thought CM Punk had their best interest in his head.
Hell yeah.
Because he has been known to be a big dummy and a big bully.
And a big douche.
And if he was going to cover half of Colt Cabana's legal fees, and he said that to him in passing or whatever in the text messages, and Colt Cabana actually listened to him, well, that's Colt Cabana's fault. Because CM Punk is a 145-pound weirdo at UFC, and he has nothing to do anymore.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because in that email that you're briefly mentioning, he wrote, "Whatever my bill is currently will be cut in half, and half will be yours. Starting now, I will no longer be paying your bills. You are on your own. If you choose to make it ugly, that's fine too. I hope you won't, but I gave up on you doing the right thing a long time ago."
Who said that to who?
CM Punk said that to Colt Cabana in an email.
All right, you know what? Let me talk. I am a huge alternative music fan.
Yeah?
I am a huge getting tattooed fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah?
You know that. And there's just this one super staunch, super tattooed guy who decided to get into wrestling at the right place at the right time. He matched up with the right people at the right time, namely Paul Heyman. And let me just say, it hasn't been an easy road to come to this conclusion. I've tried so hard to give this person the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to say that CM Punk couldn't hack it in hardcore. He couldn't hack it in straight edge life. So he went into wrestling and couldn't hack it there. CM Punk is weak. CM Punk is a toy. CM Punk will argue and fight his fight over anybody who will listen.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk got his fucking ass beat brutally twice in UFC.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And CM Punk, by the way, was never the best wrestler. Never the best in the world. Roll it back, Green Man. CM Punk was literally never in his entire career, from beginning to end, the best in the world. CM Punk was a guy who is shorter than me, a guy who weighed in less than me, who decided that a AA into a knee strike was a go to sleep, and that was a finisher. CM Punk is ignorant. CM Punk is delusional, and he should just go away. And you're hearing this from a tattooed punk rock independent supporter. Like, if you're any dude out there with any kind of original idea, I support you. CM Punk, go away. And you know what? Without Paul Heyman, CM Punk is nothing.
Yeah.
Without Pepsi, CM Punk is nothing. He, just like every guy who I've ever met in the hardcore scene when we were in a band, leveraged straight edge culture to try to get ahead because he had no original thought in his fucking head, and he sucks. CM Punk gives tattooed alternative thinking
bad name.
A bad name.
Yeah.
That's for goddamn sure, man. It's like, dude, you try to present yourself as some punk rock god, some fucking independent god, but really you're just like working for the machine more than any of us will ever do. And then when the machine doesn't work for you, you're going to complain and cry like a baby. So right now, first and foremost, I've been thinking it for years, I will officially denounce CM Punk. He is not one of our people. He's a mainstream guy with tattoos. He doesn't live it. He doesn't do it. It's like, oh, you're working out and you're trying to be a professional wrestler, so you're not going to drink. So now you've adapted the straight edge culture. Oh my God, that's so happy. I'm so happy for you. So happy. You're so enlightened.
I gotta be honest, I've been a CM Punk fan for a while.
You're an idiot. You're the worst. That's a dumb decision by you.
I'm sorry, but I have been a CM Punk fan, but this may take the cake. And maybe if his best friend does not want to associate with him and wants to now sue CM Punk, could this be an opportunity for me to be like, yo, CM Punk is the common denominator. He's the fuck up.
Let me ask you this, Green Man. I'm going to ask you a question. Did
Absolutely.
CM Punk ever have a creative thought in his fucking head for his entire life?
Well, the fact that he was able to shoot his own promos, the fact that
was he able to shoot his own promos?
Yeah, absolutely he was.
But let me ask you this question: was he able to shoot his own promos, or did he at one point for 10 minutes on air shoot his own promo, and then everything else he sold out and read a script and was the pipe bomb guy? Like, if you think for 1 second that after that original promo with the sit down Stone Cold thing, if you think for 1 second that after that Vince didn't take it and literally mold it into his own fucking image, like CM Punk sold out, dude. Okay, yeah, there was one moment in time where CM Punk sat down Indian style and said some shit. By the way, was that a shoot? Nothing on Raw is a shoot, okay?
True.
So that might not have even been his original idea. Okay, and then he was the pipe bomb guy. Dude, your pipe bomb is like Fruit Loops to me. Get the fuck out of here. A WWE pipe bomb is literally like children's cereal. Okay? You understand? So like for you to claim to be like some kind of savior, some kind of bullshit, it's like, dog, you were selfish. You were bullshit. You were everything you stood against. In 30 seconds, you went from being the guy that you wanted to be to being the guy that you never wanted to be. And you just sold it right up the river. And then, because you had no other avenue to go to, you decided to go to UFC and embarrass not only yourself, but all of professional wrestling and all of UFC. So literally in one fell swoop, CM Punk, the punk guy, the Pepsi guy, the cool, abrasive guy, the savior of the independents, literally made a mockery out of promos, professional wrestling, and UFC, all in a 1 month span. He's a fucking idiot, and I swear to God, I would street fight him right now if I could.
I think you would.
CM Punk. Steve,
Well,
say amen.
Testify!
Testify, Steve!
well, from one Paul Heyman guy to another,
No,
Lesnar.
well, Paul Heyman is a different story, dog.
Wait. From one Paul Heyman guy to another, in a meeting with Vince McMahon before Raw, Brock Lesnar is reported to have told Vince McMahon that he is willing to work WWE and UFC going forward. How this would work between UFC and WWE remains unknown, but given Lesnar is a big draw for the company, there will be no doubt a lot of work behind the scenes to ensure that this remains part of the fold. Gentlemen, what do you guys think about Lesnar
Bullshit.
being part of two organizations at one time?
The Lesnar can do whatever he wants because everything is so fucked in the first place. So if he wants to show up and do a little UFC and a little WWE, everything is a shadow of itself in the first place. So I don't even care. I'm not even watching in the first place. So who cares?
Dude, when's the last time you watched a Raw front to back?
6 months. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months. 6 months. 6
Start
months. 6
again.
months.
Start
6
again.
months. 6
Stop
months.
saying
6 months.
Stop
6 months.
Stop saying. What's the last storyline that you feel compelled by?
Maybe when Matt Hardy was trying to get the delete thing happening in real life, and then it slowly got
Deleted?
No,
dissolved.
it just became this mainstream thing. It's like anything that's good and original, just like real life, just these corporations, they take and they chop and screw.
Well, gentlemen, speaking of Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho said that he admires WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar for having his current contract. Now, just so you know, Lesnar receives $127,000 per appearance and $637,000 per match. He was speaking to Jim Ross on his podcast, and he said, and I quote, "You can't blame freaking LeBron James for going to the Lakers for $40 million for 2 years. Blame the company, blame the owners, blame the team, blame the company, blame Vince McMahon. Don't blame the guy who received the formidable deal." So, can we blame Brock Lesnar for the shittiness that's been going on with the Universal Championship?
So he's operating within a system that's allowing him to do that. So they want an absent champion. He's waving his hand saying he will do that, and he's picking up the paycheck. And you know what? If I can go to work once every 2 months and get my full pay, I'll do it. It's like, what's the
No
point?
question
What's
about
the point
it.
of what's the point of showing up every Monday, Tuesday, and doing the weekend circuits for the same pay rate and getting nowhere when you can just push around your leverage and your clout and say, "Hey, I'm worth showing up once every 3 months for $250,000." Is it bad for the storyline? Maybe. Does it make the boys who tore around every week really mad? Probably. But if you're Brock Lesnar, you're fucking Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And you know what? Any of the boys, if they were offered Brock's contract, would take it.
Why not?
It's like, no matter how much you love the business, whether you're Roman Reigns everywhere down to Joey Janela, if somebody was to offer you that kind of deal, you'd fucking take it, man.
I totally agree. And in other news, I'm happy to announce that the Elite just announced that the All-In event will be broadcasted on pay-per-view.
The Elite just announced.
Oh, you're happy to announce the Elite's going to make millions of dollars based off all marks who hate actual wrestling.
Yeah, and you could catch them on the Fight TV app.
Never heard of it.
For the first hour, and they're all in 0 hour.
No, never
and
heard of
they
it.
will also be shown on WGN America.
Not going to watch it.
Free.
Don't care.
My question for you guys is, are the Boulevard Bullies all in?
Yo, we're all in.
Are you really?
You know it. In some way, shape, or form, we're going to show up, and we're probably going to mess everything up.
You ready for this?
Go ahead.
I need you to cut this, and I need you to send it everywhere. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to hear it here first. This is an opinion that is unlike any other you have ever heard. All right?
Give it to me.
Cody Rhodes' dream is to attach himself to anything that makes him seem cool. All right? So when Cody Rhodes was in WWE and he was being written Stardust, he was like, man, my dream is to just make Stardust as best as it could be. And then when Stardust didn't work for Cody Rhodes, he said, hey, you know what I need to do? I need to quit WWE, and my new dream is to be the best independent wrestler I could be. And then when he realized he wasn't worth shit, he latched on to Bullet Club, and he said, hey, you know what? I'm Cody Rhodes, and my dream is to be at Bullet Club. And then he was in it. And then once he was in it and he had this team, he said, hey, my name's Cody Rhodes, and my dream is to run the biggest independent wrestling show in the world. So I just want you to take a step back and understand that the name Cody Rhodes is as much of a work as anything else in professional wrestling.
No. I totally disagree.
Yeah, well, you're totally wrong. You're totally wrong.
I
Steve,
totally
weigh in,
disagree.
baby.
Steve, you got...
Give us your analysis, Daddy.
This is a heated conversation, and I.
This guy's a bandwagon jumper.
I feel slighted. I feel like I'm halfway this way. I'm halfway that way. I can't tell.
I respect the work that Cody Rhodes has been doing to
do you
in
call
his
it work?
career.
Are you going to call it work?
Yeah,
Are you going to call it
and
work?
the work that he has been doing to get over.
Oh, has he done work to get over, or did he
yeah.
just latch on to something that was already over?
All Ins is an original concept.
It's an original
Bullet
concept.
Club, it's not Bullet Club All In. It's just All In.
Okay, so you're saying that it's not Bullet Club All In?
No.
Are you crazy?
It's an original concept.
Okay, basically,
for
what you're
the independent scene to get together and put on a show like they're putting on.
Because
And
Cody
Rhodes and
Rhodes
the Young Bucks got together
Yeah.
and made it
Yeah.
happen.
Oh my God. Cody Rhodes is the Abraham Lincoln of the independent scene, right? Like they were
Putting
so
words in my mouth.
They
That
were
is not
so
what I said.
The independent scene was so disjointed. It was so unsuccessful. Before Cody Rhodes decided to throw his name in the ring,
But he totally brought it to the next level.
did he?
Yes.
I have
Do you
no
argue that he hasn't?
I have no belief in my mind that Cody Rhodes booked anything that's happening. I think it was the Young Bucks and their ingenuity and their
And they're part of it. It's the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes.
No, it's
just
not
Cody
the Young
Rhodes.
Bucks and Cody Rhodes. It's the Young Bucks featuring Cody Rhodes.
If anything, it's Cody Rhodes featuring the Young Bucks.
For him to go Instagram Live and be like, hey, I booked the biggest wrestling show, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dog, oh my God. It's like, you couldn't even be successful being Dusty Rhodes' son. So then you had to. Then you had to quit. You had to quit the company,
Best move he ever
and
did.
then you had to go latch onto the Young Bucks. You know what I'm saying? It's like you couldn't even hack it as Dusty Rhodes' son. No. The infamy,
So disrespectful,
The infamy
Pat.
that
So
you
disrespectful.
gained. Nah, dude. And I love Cody. I love him. I think he's a great worker. I think he's a brilliant mind. He's well-spoken. He's brilliant. But let's be honest, man. You couldn't get over as Dusty Rhodes' son. So then you had to quit your shit and go get over as, like, you just literally lashed yourself on to the other biggest thing. Give me a break, man. Give me a fucking break. Without, you know what? The key is the Young Bucks, man. The most over thing.
I'll agree with you on
The
that.
smartest and most over thing in professional wrestling for literally the last 15 fucking years has been the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are the key. Just because some
Well, 15 is a little long, but
Yeah.
maybe like
give me
five.
a real.
Maybe like 3 to 5.
No, I'll go 10. I'll go 10.
No.
Split the difference.
They weren't even around 10 years ago.
All right, 6.5.
Yeah, they're like 5 years younger than us, so who knows? But you know what I'm saying? It's like
I would agree. I would agree that
I'll agree with that.
Cody had his thing. He had his steam.
he just hopped on the right thing, man.
But I think that because he coupled himself with the Young Bucks, it became that much more influential. And I'm not going to say that he wasn't doing a great thing on. There was a year where he was just fighting Kurt Angle in a steel cage on the Independents. He was doing his thing. But I think when he definitely latched on or connected with the Young Bucks, it definitely. The synergy was greater than the sum was better than the whole was better than the sum of its parts. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just ask you this: what was Cody Rhodes' plan when he quit WWE? What was his plan? Like, if the Young Bucks and being elite didn't exist, what was Cody Rhodes going to go do on the independent scene?
As a man, I would say
As a man and a performer?
No. As any man, I think his plan needed to be to make some money.
Yeah,
To
and
make some
if
money.
my
And
plan was to make money,
And if I have a name
Right.
like Cody Rhodes to go out and make some money, I would go to the promotions and try to make that money. Cody Rhodes was featured in HOG Wrestling. Cody Rhodes was featured and then got his push with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Cody Rhodes, anywhere that you could make money, that's what you needed to do.
all right. So let me ask you this: what is, in your mind, your all-time favorite Cody Rhodes match?
I don't think I have one.
Yeah, you know why you don't have one? Because he's all fucking filler and no killer, dude.
But it's okay to be a filler.
No, it's
It's okay to
actually
be a
not
filler.
okay. It's
okay to
actually
be a filler.
bullshit.
There's many
Listen,
people who are fillers.
listen, if you wanna
without the fillers, you wouldn't have the other people to rise up.
You're absolutely
you need,
right.
You need a little bit of everything.
And I love that, and I appreciate the sanctity of professional wrestling, where one person puts another person over, and all that fucking bullshit happens that doesn't matter because it's all fake. But however, what Cody Rhodes needs to understand is that he literally has offered nothing other than a physically good look and a name since he has started. Is that not the truth? Whether he was Cody Rhodes with the face mask, Stardust, these characters, I love these characters.
And he did a
dude.
great job
but
with them.
he is all I'm saying is that he is not the savior of independent wrestling. He is actually a
Who's
double
calling
agent.
him the savior?
Everybody
There's no one
on this
calling him
fucking
the
planet.
No.
Dude, when you go and Google the biggest independent wrestling show that's ever existed, the sold out show, whose face pops up? Tell me.
Bucks?
Oh, yeah. The Young Bucks. And who's in the middle?
Cody Rhodes.
Right.
He is the hottest name in,
So,
in professional
basically,
wrestling right now.
Cody
True.
Rhodes' talent.
Omega?
Cody Rhodes' talent begins and ends at the fact that he was able to go back into the fucking populace and convince all these motherfuckers that he's money. When really, in reality...
So kudos to him, because there's
Yeah.
other people who've left
Okay.
the WWE
So
who are
he's-
not doing that.
you know what?
Enzo Amore's not doing that.
So
Austin
he's
Aries is not doing that.
So he is, in fact, a great businessman who can do a spinning, pivoting diamond cutter. You know what I mean? It's like his marketing is on point, but his fucking wrestling is meh. Give me Austin Aries over Cody Rhodes any day of the week. And you know why you wouldn't book Austin Aries over Cody Rhodes? Because of the size, because of the name. It's nothing else. At the end of the day, listen to this. This is a goddamn shoot, Steve. Okay, what I need to tell you is that wrestling is about honor, and it's about legend, and it's amazing, and it's the most beautiful thing that's ever existed. But at the end of the day, it's more about marketing, and it's more about the size and the look and the name. So Austin Aries, to me, is a much, much, much better wrestler than Cody Rhodes. Head and shoulders. But Cody Rhodes got the name. Cody Rhodes got the hot wife. Cody Rhodes was smart enough to go connect himself to the Young Bucks, and that's why he is the face of the biggest independent wrestling show that's ever existed. He did shit. 2 years ago, he was fucking Stardust reading lines from some guy. And by the way, when you leave the business, are you going to bury every single fucking person you work with? Like, do you really need to write an open letter burying everybody? Like, give me a fucking break. You sucked. Your gimmick sucked. And now you're indie. Get the fuck out of here. You got to write a whole letter? I'm off Cody Rhodes, man. I'm off him. I'm off him. Go ahead, Steve. Weigh in, baby.
On that
Young
note,
Bucks.
I think we may
Young
need
Bucks
to
are the money.
end
Young
this
Bucks
in the
are the
fact that
shit.
we agree to disagree. And
No,
move
you're
on. and move on
actually
to the
that's
next-
not right. You're wrong. You're actually wrong. You're actually completely wrong. I'm sorry to disagree with you, but you're wrong. Cody Rhodes sucks. He's a above average wrestler, godlike name, savvy business sense. Guess what?
It sounds good to me. Yeah, that's
Sounds
You know
like
what?
a
Sign
good
me up
promo,
too.
right?
I'm ready to go.
that's
Well,
a good-
gentlemen, in other news,
You can just cut that all out.
in
You can
other
just-
news, WWE has announced that Renee Young will be filling in for Jonathan Coachman on commentary, which will be the first time that the female commentator will be able to cover a whole Monday Night Raw. Now we talk about the women's evolution coming to Nassau Coliseum. What do you think about Renee Young doing commentating?
I think it's great. I mean, she's great. She's probably been the most real person that's been around in the last few years, and
She's hot.
yeah, whether or not she's attractive or not, I think she can talk.
You don't think
How dare
Renee
you.
Young's attractive?
How dare you? That doesn't even factor in.
Yeah.
Coachman sucks. That's the point.
Well, she's subbing in to some person that's way superior. Way inferior to her. Good for Renee. It's about time. I like her little bob. Dean Ambrose is cool too. Whatever. She's Canadian, so poutine. It's great. Just keep it going.
And also, it's like, hey, I feel like they're looking at the product and whoever they is, they're saying, hey, you know what? And who sucks? Coachman.
Yeah.
Like, he's so bad. Like, and even when he tries to be good, he's even worse. So not only would I plug literally anybody into that spot other than him, but it just makes sense that you would bring in a beautiful, amazing, intuitive, and intellectual woman because they're on the eve of the shit that you said. And Coachman's the worst, dude. Can we just say
He's not good.
like just
Yeah.
because you hosted Sports Center doesn't mean that you know about
He's
like
not
sports.
Why did he even come back in the first place?
Because you know why? I feel like they brought him in because they saw the time that he spent at ESPN and they were like, oh, he's going to legitimize it. He's going to give it a real life analyst feel. But
He dumbed it down, man.
He's no
yeah,
bueno.
he
Yeah.
really is the worst. And even when the more he tries to give it this analyst feel, the more hokey and shitty he becomes. You know, give me Corey Graves all day. And
All day?
furthermore-
Are you not over Corey Graves?
No,
I'm starting
you
to
know
feel
what?
like I'm getting a little over Corey Graves.
Let me tell you something. I am not over Corey Graves, and the reason why I'm not
I'm
Corey
over all this WWE talk, to be honest.
well, that's definitely a overwhelming overall factors that I'm over WWE. But if I wasn't, Corey Graves would be the money, because Corey Graves knows, Corey Graves channels Jerry Lawler 90s. You know what I'm
Probably,
saying?
yeah.
You know what? There is that back and forth heel face commentator situation that I do like when I do watch wrestling and I do watch Raw. I would put my vote to him. Going back to Renee, she's cool. Let her get the spot. Everyone else fucking sucks. Michael Cole's dead in the water. Coachman is an idiot. Give her the reins, and she's like a little bit like a little lisp. And it's kind of cute, so whatever.
It is. It's endearing. We're getting ready to the road on Boardwalk Beatdown, and Abyss will be appearing on that, going against Matt Tremont and
Dan O'Hare.
Big scare, Dan O'Hare.
The big scare, Dan O'Hare. And now, during a recent interview, Abyss spoke on what pro wrestling is missing these days. The one thing, and he says, and I quote, "The one thing I do think wrestling is missing is characters. Abyss is a character. The one thing wrestling has to be careful of is going completely away from characters. When I got addicted to the business when I was a kid, it was characters. If you look back at the 80s and 90s, everybody, even the opening guys, had characters. I fear it has gone too far to be athletic, contest versus character. I think that is something the business needs and needs to be careful of. Gentlemen, do you think the business is missing characters?
Steve.
All right, I'm gonna just call bullshit on that, because you know what the business was missing? The business was missing Abyss showing up the last 2 times Matt Tremont called him out at a show, because we're good friends with.
Yeah, the business is missing characters showing up on time and
So-
when they have previous commitments.
So I know that Abyss was booked. I think I might digress. There might have been a family issue once or so, but the business is missing. The business is missing people showing up to the matches they're booked for and fighting the fights that they're gonna fight with the workers are going to work with. And Abyss can't just come out of the blue and say, hey, you know what? There's got to be more characters. Because, hey, back in the 90s, there was a lot of characters. Max Moon and Doink and fucking Bastion Booker and Duke the Jumpster Rossi. And that wasn't a fucking... Actually, you know what? When I was 10 years old, I really liked Duke the Jumpster Rossi.
Annenbaum was my dude.
Yeah, Bastion Booker was my favorite.
But, you know what I'm saying? Is like, you can't just focus on characters, because you could have a lot of characters stuff, and if you can't work in the ring and you can't tell a good story when you're actually there, what the fuck is the fucking point? So I think Abyss needs to show up. He needs to put up and shut up, and show up and fight Matt Tremont. And then after what happens, if he thinks he has to talk about character development, then go that way. But if not, he should probably just shut up and just put his little stupid pseudo Batman Bane mask away and just never show up again.
Yeah, and you know what
I love
else?
you, Dad.
You know what else? It's like, okay, you're Abyss. You got mad cred. I'm into it, right? You've proven things that many wrestlers could never prove. However, how about you just do all of us a favor and shut the fuck up and not comment on who needs to show up and who doesn't need to show up. Like, it's wrestling, man. Like, so for you to be Abyss, who's a guy in a mask, who's a guy who's like a at this point a 10-year character, for you to say what's wrong with wrestling, nah, man. Yo, Abyss the character doesn't say that. Like, why would you shoot on things that you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know. You don't even know what these people... And by the way, your schedule sucks. You barely show up to shows that you're booked on. So for you to shoot on people, there need to be more characters. The only reason you're saying that is because you're a character. Mm-hmm. Like, the other reason you're saying that, like, characters need to be over is because you're a character. And I do agree with him. I do agree that I hate the independent wrestler, which is the black trunks, who's using their first and last name. Like, I fucking hate that more than I hate Abyss being an asshole. But, however, Abyss's words, to me, hold no validity because he doesn't show up to his indie bookings. The TNA bookings that I've ever seen him on really weren't that great. Like, you're no Mick Foley. Like, give me a break, dude. Like, did you hold the sanctity of your character for your entire fucking career like everybody who has come before you has? No, you didn't. You, just the fact that you're doing a shoot interview saying that means that you're part of the fucking problem, dude. Done.
Yep.
End of story. Move on. Oh, yeah. Great barbed wire match with Tommy Dreamer. EV 2.0, let me go jerk off in the corner and die rather than watch that match. Like, literally waterboard me, put me in a veal box and let my muscles atrophy before I watch anything from EV 2.0.
Veal? I've never heard anybody say a veal box
Wow.
before. That's amazing.
Well,
You know,
this is why we have
they put baby cows in a box and they don't let their muscles atrophy. So if like a cow was to grow up to be full strength, it would be a steak.
Yeah,
But if
I know how you make veal. I'm just saying you don't ever say veal box.
Do you? You don't. I don't feel like you know how you make veal.
Yeah,
do you
because
guys know how to make veal?
Because listen, you put the baby cow in the box,
baby
and
cow.
you let the muscles atrophy,
Oh.
and it becomes veal. But you don't call it a veal box.
Right. So literally, let's just bring that full circle. Abyss was in a veal box his entire life.
Okay.
And now that he's broken free, he thinks he's a full cow.
But now his name's Veal Biss.
Yeah, but however, he's still just in years he's an adult cow, but in veal life he literally just got his box broken. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how dare you talk about the business because you were literally just the one guy in a mask from TNA that sucked for 25 years. Am I exaggerating?
Yeah, I think 25 years is a
You
little
may be
long.
exaggerating a little bit, but you'll have your opportunity.
Every
Yeah.
single thing I say gets 10 years added to it.
Pat, you may have your opportunity to voice your opinion at Boardwalk Beatdown.
Nah,
when
don't stop plugging that. We're not going to be there.
When
I don't care.
Abyss is going to be there signing, and the night of Boardwalk Beatdown, he will also be taking on Matt Tremont.
You know what? I bet Abyss is much better at
And
signing
O'Hare.
autographs than he is at wrestling at this point. So there's a shoot for you.
Well, speaking of Boardwalk Beatdown, we have
What
an
are you
exclusive.
talking about? Boardwalk Beatdown? I don't even know what this is. Dude, we're going to be
You
home.
totally know what it is.
I'm going
And
to
let
sleep
me tell
in.
you a little bit more.
What date is it?
It is August 24th.
I'm going to
and
sleep until
25th.
4 o'clock that day. So I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in Queens sleeping until 4. And then
Well,
I'm going to go
listen,
get Italian
the
ices.
re-
And then I'm going to smoke weed, jerk off, and go to sleep. And
Well,
not watch
listen,
any wrestling.
The rest of the wrestling world will be going to Atlantic City.
There is no wrestling world.
for
Just stop it right now.
Boardwalk Beatdown, and A Shot of Wrestling will be covering it all weekend long. We will be there at Dinner with the Stars.
Hold on, stop. What is a shot of wrestling? I don't. What are you saying? Like,
And A Shot of Wrestling will be covering Dinner with the Stars with our exclusive live
so that's like
podcast
a new.
with
That's a news
Wrestling
thing. That's,
IQ 101. Pat, let me fill you in because Boardwalk Beatdown will be going down on August 25th. And after that, it would be the Breakout Tournament of Champions putting out by Standalone Wrestling. We spoke to Chad Mines the last 2 weeks, and we're going to bring him back one more time tonight on A Shot of Wrestling.
Bullet Club.
In Atlantic City, the boardwalk.
We are getting closer and closer and closer to Boardwalk Beatdown. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are the official podcast of Boardwalk Beatdown, and we are on the road to Atlantic City. We're on the road to Standalone Wrestling Boardwalk Beatdown. We have back the man himself, Chad Mines, who's going to give us some answers to some frequently asked questions that you guys may have about this upcoming event on August 24th and 25th in Atlantic City. So, Chad, welcome back to the show. It's 3 weeks in a row. How you feeling, man?
Feel amazing. It's great to be back on. This is awesome.
I mean, you're getting closer and closer. So are the nerves starting to kick in? Or are you just ready to pull through and have a great weekend?
Yeah, nerves are at 120%.
All right. So fill us in first and foremost on if people are just starting to hear about Boardwalk Beatdown. Who is running this thing?
So Boardwalk Beatdown consists of myself and my two partners, Preacher Phineas James and Arlene James.
Okay. And you guys also run standalone wrestling, correct? Awesome. If I buy an admission ticket, do I get to watch the wrestling shows too and get autographs as well? Or do I have to buy everything separately?
So there's two separate passes. Actually, it's 3 events with 3 separate tickets. Friday night is the dinner event, Dinner with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1 ticket. We have a admission ticket for the convention, which is the 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. event, which includes access to the vendors,
Okay.
the merchandise, and the activities that we have planned. And then the 7 p.m. live show is an additional ticket as well.
All right. And where could I get these tickets?
All the tickets are on standalonewrestling.com under the buy ticket section.
What does my admission to Boardwalk Beatdown cover?
So your Boardwalk Beatdown convention admission, it gives you access to the vendor room, which we're going to have, close to 100 tables of talents who will be available for meet and greets, merchandise, podcasts, and other media. We're going to have a separate room called Beatdown Academy, where you can learn some small moves. You can dress up like a wrestler. You can take promo classes and fun stuff like that. We're going to have trivia contests and video game contests, trivia. We're going to have a DJ, entertaining the fans, food and drinks and everything like that as well for that portion of the event.
Awesome. Actually, there is a question that I have about food and drinks. Is food and drinks going to be available at Boardwalk Beatdown, or do I
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so there on site there is restaurants, or we're actually going to have food in the conference center itself as well.
Cool. Now, this is in Atlantic City. We are in Queens, New York. I'm sure there's a lot of other out-of-town people coming from all over the United States. How do we get there? How do we get to Atlantic City?
So if you're coming from Philadelphia, you're going to take the Atlantic City Expressway from 42. And if you're coming north from New York, you're going to take the Garden State Parkway south to the Expressway to Atlantic City.
Cool. How can I find out who will be at Boardwalk Beatdown?
Okay, so if you go to standalonewrestling.com, which is the same site you buy your tickets, there's a tab that says Boardwalk Beatdown, and you can see the entire guest list, all the vendors, and our sponsors.
And hotels. Now, I'm very familiar with Atlantic City. There's tons of hotels, casinos. Some are on the strip, some are outside the strip. Does Standalone Wrestling have a blocker room somewhere, or are there any hotels that you suggest that we look into?
We do have a small block on site at the Claridge. The code is WRESTLE without the E, so it's WRESTL. That gives you access to 10% off of your room.
Oh, amazing. At Boardwalk Beatdown, will the talent be selling their merchandise as well?
They will, yep.
Can I purchase autograph packages the day of, or do they all have to be purchased prior to the day?
You could pre-order, or you can buy the day of. Some vendors do pre-order specials where you save money prior to the event if you order, but everybody will be available the day of as well.
Amazing. One of the biggest draws to this event is the Bullet Club, so I'm sure you've gotten this question asked. Can I get a picture with the entire Bullet Club?
You can. We have 2 separate packages. They're called Banner VIPs. One is going to be an all-in banner where you can get the entire Bullet Club. And another one is going to be a Bullet Club banner. We will have the Bullet Club banner behind you.
Wow. And will the talent, not just the Bullet Club, but will any of the talent sign personal items?
Like bring your own items?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, they love doing that.
Oh, that's so cool. Is Boardwalk Beatdown and Breakout in the same room in the Claridge?
It is not. The conference center is on the 2nd floor, and the theater is on the 6th floor. Easy access by elevator.
Awesome, man. Well, those are the frequently asked questions that we've received. Do you have any other questions that anybody has asked you along the way that you feel that you want to let everybody else know about?
Yeah, the most common question is a person still coming to the convention? And that gets updated via our website, standalonewrestling.com, the Boardwalk Beatdown tab. Parking, they have an on-site garage parking, which is at a fee that is dictated by the hotel. But also you could park at Ocean Resort for free because they're doing a free parking promotion there.
Oh, that's amazing. Cool. Well, you answered this for us last week, but I'm still very curious. And if you didn't listen to last week's show, will there be another Boardwalk Beatdown next year?
We are definitely planning on it. Like I mentioned, we are, we have an option of a different venue, which is more upscale and I think would fit our brand better as well. So definitely, if people come out, they buy tickets, they support the brand, we spread the word. There's no reason why we won't have a year or two.
Awesome, brother. Well, listen, we are beyond excited to participate in Boardwalk Beatdown. We want to thank you for joining us in these last few weeks on our road to Boardwalk Beatdown. I think the next time we'll see each other will be in person. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you're going to have a busy weekend ahead of you. But anything that you need from us, always feel free to ask. We're here for you, brother. And that's it. We'll see you on Boardwalk Beatdown, man.
Thanks so much. Can't wait to see you guys there.
In Atlantic City, the boardwalk.
All right, and now we are back. Thank you, Chad, for filling us in. Again, Boardwalk Beatdown is on August 25th. A lot of great things going on. We're drinking some whiskey. We're drinking some wild turkey. We're having a great time here. Still with the Blvd Bullies. And let's get into Raw and SmackDown and Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground. Cheers. And
we
heels.
literally watched none of those, so I can't wait to give you my opinion on those things that we don't watch.
A Shot of Wrestling presents Raw and SmackDown Cheers and Heat.
Thank you, Larry Legend, for a great introduction to our Cheers and Heels. Gentlemen, now I know the professional wrestling world is so dense. There's so much great things going on right now, but did you guys get a chance to watch Monday Night Raw?
No.
I mean, you had to watch some part of it. You posted on your Instagram some great memes about Paul Heyman. Do you consider that one of your cheers for this week's Monday Night Raw?
You know what? That promo was very great. I take back everything I said. Heyman is the greatest actor of our lifetime.
Goat.
Fuck DiCaprio. Fuck De Niro. It's all about Paul Heyman and his unshaved
award-winning
face.
performance.
Oh my god! Like, I will keep an eye on Raw, like, in the background. But when I saw them before the actual segment, like, cut to a preview of Paul, they're like, hey, up next, we got Paul and Renee talking. And I saw that he had obviously not shaved on purpose.
It's all the details.
And he was just
in the
like,
details, baby.
he was so in it, man. And I cannot even remember the last time that I looked at Paul Heyman and said, man, that guy is the fucking GOAT. And when I was watching that promo, and this is the last time I even enjoyed Raw, and I can't even remember the last time I thought it was good. Maybe Jericho, Kevin Owens, like, best
good
friend
times.
fair.
Yeah.
Like, maybe when Jericho was still on Raw, I was enjoying it. But man, Paul Heyman's promo was literally the shit. And the only downside is that it was promoting the worst match ever. Like, it's like he did the best promo that I care about so much for a match that I could give two fucking shits about. My dog was crying. He had not shaved for a week. And guaranteed, that's as much facial hair as Paul Heyman can grow in a week.
Right?
I
It
guarantee
took a while,
it.
yeah.
And just like him getting in it and just like being like, that's what it's all about, man. It's disjointed and it's a weird commentary by me. But holy shit, Paul Heyman on Raw, probably the best thing I've seen in 6 months.
I think the only other thing I would cheers for Monday Night Raw is the Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy appearing in opposite corners during the Revival and the B Team match.
Okay.
I thought that was cool.
Yes.
The fact that they've done the disappearing and reappearing trick, but in the way that it was booked in opposite corners and the opponents in the middle of the ring sold it so well, like they were calling into each other.
They're so worried.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, what the fuck's going on?
It's some supernatural
It
shit.
was so good. So
It was good,
sold it.
but was it like good? Or was it just like something in Raw that didn't suck?
It was. I thought it was good.
I thought it was good too. However, like, is the payoff gonna be as good as that moment?
We could only hope so.
Well,
I mean, I still think
would
one of the best
temper expectations. If I were you.
one of the best tag team matches that I ever saw featured the Revival in NXT, and one of the stories that they were telling is they were keeping their opponents from making the tag.
Yeah.
And I still remember just being invested in that match because of that.
Oh, well, Revival in NXT is the best tag team wrestling that you'll ever see, bar none. That spot was cool, I agree, but will they use it to their benefit? Will they make it an actual cool thing? Probably not. It'll probably be just some kind of weird schmoz. You know what? I apologize. I don't want to be so negative. It's gonna be great.
No, well, we're gonna move into some of the negative because I have to heal the fact of there's some characters in Monday Night Raw that I did not like. Bobby Lashley, Bobby Roode, Authors of Pain. What the fuck's going on with them?
Hey, you know what? I just really can't get behind Bobby Lashley because he should be this powerhouse of a person. He's bigger than everybody else, and he has this smile that's like, hey, I am like I'm selling real estate or something like that.
Is he the worst person that they could have signed?
I would rather him.
I don't want him in my TV.
I would rather have not ever seen Bobby Lashley come back ever because
I agree.
The song could be a good entrance music to somebody who cared. His look is pretty good. He's pretty demanding in the ring, but when you get the mic on him, he's like, hey, I'm here, you're here, let's have fun. And I'm like, dude, you're just not connecting on both levels, and no one gets him, no one's getting behind him, and there's a disconnect between him being so family friendly and trying to be this big freaking like killer. So I think I would prefer just to never see Bobby Lashley on camera ever again.
I agree. And
his stupid little son or daughter, or whoever he or she was.
Steve, I may have a little heel that might be a little controversial.
Uh-oh.
But the women's evolution, I have to heel it. The end of Raw ended with a great tag team match with the women. It was Bayley and Sasha against the Riot Squad, which I thought was a great match. And then they push Ronda Rousey and Alicia Fox as their main event. I think it's all great. And I strongly believe that the women should be featured in high-profile matches like that. But part of me misses that attitude era of women's wrestling. Those skimpy bikinis, the lingerie matches, Sable with the pasties. Am I the only one missing this aspect of women's wrestling?
I'm going to heel your heel, and I'm going to say you're totally inappropriate because I definitely appreciate the athleticism and the fact that they're going to bring the women's division up into the main event of the show. Yes, there is that innate sexuality because they're beautiful women, and the majority of the fan base is, probably a heterosexual male,
Right.
And they're all beautiful, athletic, gorgeous ladies, but it should be based on the fact that they are athletically capable and they are able to hold down the main event spot. And I think Ronda Rousey is awesome. I think that they should have not let her speak on the microphone so much when she first came around, and maybe she's speaking less now and just kind of being more of like a killer. And when she gets those fucking arm bars on the other girls, it's like it's brutal. That shit is brutal, and she looks like a fucking killer, and she is definitely claiming her spot in the main event. So that's awesome. Alicia Fox, don't know why she's there.
A veteran in the business.
I mean, yeah,
part
but
of
can you enlighten me to why she's just going to be in the main event out of nowhere?
I mean, you talk about someone who has been part of the women's revolution, who has probably the longest career in the women's division right now. I think she's earned her spot in the main event for Raw.
Well, yeah, with tenure and such, but with
tenure, but
with tenacity or with even just
popularity,
being,
excitement.
Even just being accessible or relevant, maybe not so much.
Well, we move on from Monday Night Raw. We move on to SmackDown. Did you guys get a chance to watch SmackDown?
Oh, the only thing I watched less than Raw was SmackDown.
Well, on that note, let's just get into some ratings. This week's Raw drew a 2.804 million viewers, which is down from last week's 2.9. Raw was the number 1 for the night in viewership on cable for the second week in a row. Raw was number 2 in the 18 to 49 demographic, behind Love and Hip Hop. You guys really should check out that show. SmackDown, this week's SmackDown was 2.197 million viewers, which is down from last week's 2.401. SmackDown was number 7 in viewership for the night in cable, behind Hannity, The Rachel Maddow Show, and Ingram Angle, Last Word. SmackDown was number 1 in the 18 to 49 demographic for the second week in a row. Now, we're big fans of The Miz here. So this week's Miz and Mrs. drew a 1.225 million viewers, which is down from last week's 1.303 million viewers, which ranked number 3 for the night on cable between 18 and 49 demographic. We wrap up this week's show with our final thoughts. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight on episode 129. It was a pleasure. It's like a tradition now. The Boulevard Bullies come at the end of every summer.
Oh my
So a
God.
shot of wrestling to get fucked up.
I feel like this is our worst episode yet.
I appreciate having you guys having us. Thank you. I feel bad for everybody having to deal with us talking about nonsense for 4 hours.
Yeah, what else do you want us?
It'll probably get cut down to an hour and a half. Love you all. Take care. See you later. Subscribe to the YouTube. Kisses. Hugs.
By the way, subscribe to my personal podcast if I'm just going to start doing 4 hours. Subscribe to my personal podcast, Patrick Blvd Bullies.
It's actually just the PKOD. It's the podcast.
Yeah, Podcast of Doom.
Pod KAST.
Cast of Doom. Yeah, it's basically like I'm just going to do the exact opposite of everything that you've heard here, and I'm just going to talk about all the shit I hate because obviously I have too much hate for any podcast to exist on this world. So, whoop whoop.
Well,
whatever, GreenMan.
It has truly been a pleasure. And
Has it? Has it been really?
It really totally has. Thank you for getting me
Lies.
drunk in a long
Liar.
time. It has been a long time since the GreenMan has been this drunk. Maybe at Boardwalk Beatdown, I'll be able to get this drunk again. And we are the official podcast of Boardwalk Beatdown, so continue to follow us on all social media. That is a Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, and Shot of Wrestling No A on Twitter. We are on the road to Boardwalk Beatdown, and next week's episode will feature, gentlemen, are you ready for this?
This is the Bulldozer Matt Tremont. I will be on the next episode of A Shot of Wrestling.
Your
Dad!
Dad!
Is that?
Your daddy is
No
coming to
way.
a Shot
Dad?
of Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen,
Did he mention
the
us?
Bulldozer Matt Tremont will be featured on episode 130. Thank you, brother.
Our biological father.
Steve just knows all the episodes. Like he's so locked in.
I love the episodes. Biological father, 130.
For Steve the Bully, for Pat the Bully, I'm the Green Man. Green Man out.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.
I totally agree. And in other news,